Okay, it's time to start working on the suspension on the wagon. We are going to probably start on the rear first. I've never actually worked on a leaf spring suspension before. My other Jeep is all coils, so this is going to be something new for me. I think what I'm going to do is jack up the rear of the wagon, put jack stands underneath it, chock the front tires, all that good stuff. Basically get the axle kind of floating, remove the shocks, remove the leaf springs. I had to have some way to hold the axle because I only have 2 jack stands and I want the 2 jack stands to be holding the frame. So I might have to cobble something together or use both of my floor jacks to kind of hold the axle in the right spot while I put in the new springs and put the new springs in, new shackles, and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, and the blocks. You can't forget the lift blocks, 2-inch lift block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the rear here, and then afterwards, and see how much lift we get. Okay, so we have the frame all jacked up. The tires have. Oh, it's kind of hard for y'all to see. Sorry. Turn your screen sideways, guys. You can kind of see a gap all the way across. So the whole rear of the vehicle is suspended in the air. I measured before I even lifted it. I measured from the ground through the center of the axle to this body line, and it was 27 and 5/8. So that's our current ride height here. But now I have the axles in the air, and it's pretty stable. But I have the wheel chopped over there on both front and back. So we should be pretty safe. Still not going to call underneath it because, almost 5,000 pounds of vehicle crawling underneath it gets me the wheelies. So let's get these tires off. Okay, so we got the tires off. Now we can really see what we're getting into. So it looks like we remove that bolt down there. And then we remove that bolt down there. And the good thing is I have new shackles, so we don't need to take that shackle bolt out. And I have new bolts for everything. So rust be damned, it is coming apart. I think I'm going to remove the U-bolts here first, and then those bolts, and that should allow me to get me the spring out. And I need to support this axle somehow. Probably cut some blocks of wood or something to fit. You can see the track bar in there. This is one side of the track bar, and the other one mounts to the axle. Some people say that you don't need track bars with leaf springs, and you would be correct, because the leaf springs already center the axle this way, so it prevents the axle from doing this. You still do get a little bit of wobble though, because these springs are meant to flex, and so the axle will do this a little bit, and that prevents it. And since this is going to be so the downside though of the track bars is it limits how much flex you can get out of the suspension. The good thing is, since this is going to be mainly a tow vehicle and street vehicle, I'm going to keep the track bar in, and I have a relocation kit that mounts to the axle side that will adjust for the 2 inches of lift we have. And so we will be, so the track width would be the same. And here you can see the triangle part of the brace I was trying to show a couple days ago. That's the rest of the skid. Alright, let's I think we're going to take the shocks out first, and then start getting the spring out. So I got the shocks off. They're not as bad, but they're really easily to compress, so I think they've just been leaking oil all over the place. The bolts I pulled out were also very easy to come out. They were not crusty at all. So you can see there's a lot of buildup there. And that's probably oil from everything else that leaks on this thing, but also probably shock oil, you know, dripping down and collecting right here. Also, another interesting thing is I found where you drive this along and there's a lot of rattle back here. One, I knew for sure is the spare tire wiggles like crazy, but also this previous one, this is like the newest thing that was on this vehicle when I bought it, was this exhaust system. Yeah, the tailpipe just kind of wiggles in the muffler. So it wasn't even welded in, they just kind of shoved it in the hole and called it good. So we'll probably tack that up eventually. Or not, who knows. Eventually you'll get new exhaust anyways. And you can see where the axle has self-clearanced the muffler bit. So yeah, let's keep going and get these shackle bolts off now. Okay, so here is the end of day one on the rear suspension. So there's the passenger leaf spring with the, what do they call those things again? Shackles. That's right, that's the shackle. With the shackle attached, took the whole thing out because there's no reason to remove it because I have new shackles. So we also took out the track bar. You see it's missing right there. Got it all removed. And swap to the other side. And I'll show you why both leaf springs are not out. Hey, Kit. It's the other animal that lives here. Those are the U-bolts. I just cut them because, my God, they were frozen up. Leftover hardware. There's the shocks. There's the track bar. Itty bitty track bar. Little tiny guy. That guy's like half the size of the one that's on my TJ. So this leaf spring is still in. The U-bolts have been cut. The shackle bolt back there, the one that goes to the shackle to frame, it is out. That bolt is not, because that is a captive nut that is behind the gas tank and it is spinning. So that's going to be a fun one. Basically, I need to drop tomorrow, basically drop this tank, then remove that bolt, and that will probably be the end of the day. But this leaf spring's all ready to go, minus that one bolt. Fun. Okay, till next time, guys.